Hello, my name is Kyle Roderick Ridley, and I have needed a hair transplant since I was an infant. It's Rose-Colored Classist, episode 58, with another original intro. Yes, I'm so unique. Who starts a podcast like me? I am unique. Me and my high-pitched bitch voice is ready to rage. I'm going to go on for about an hour. Hope you got it. Hope you've made it time for it. I hope you're ready. Really, no, thank you for listening. It's a great time to get on board with the podcast. All right, I am a talent worth investing in. I need $15,000 right now. Really, no. Hey, please, the podcast needs $15,000. And then it would finally begin to be a profitable business. All right, that's what this is about. Okay, this show is about you giving me $15,000. All right, if you do not have $15,000 to give to the show, don't know why you're here. Okay, don't know why you're here. Oh yeah, actually, you'll find in the bottom corner of the screen, there'll be a QR code to my Go Start Kickfunder, and it's right there. I'm a loser and I failed, and I'm begging. Please help me. Right on. No, I'm a stand-up comedian. If you can't tell, I just performed on a great show. All right, a great show with a lot of popular performers. No, it's real comic Kyle showing up to the gig. I've been doing it for a long time. I'm not that bad at it. No, I'm great. Shout out to Taylor Moore, Mount Moore Comedy. Give him a follow. All right, give him a follow. I didn't tell anybody I would be performing tonight because I'm doing some editing. I'm trying to help produce the show a little bit. You know, making sure everything's taped up. You know, every comedy show has to be like a fucking athlete's ankles, just fucking tape everywhere, cameras askew, photo after photo after photo. Yeah, I'm probably going to try and take over the social media for the page. Basically all the work that I should be putting into this podcast, I'm going to put into this live show because I'm a stand-up comic, baby, and my priorities are fucked up. Yeah, all the decisions you have to make to become a well-respected, well-meaning, you know, smart stand-up comic is just, it doesn't add up a lot, okay? No, I've been hanging out with a lot of the comics lately. I've been hanging out, going out with them, doing a lot of awesome friend-type shit. And I know I love these guys. It's all I have, but it is a bit of the game. Okay, hard to stay in the pocket. We're all stand-up comics. We got to continue to trust each other, continue to find each other funny. All right, it is a nightmare trying to make yourself available for any kind of stand-up comedy opportunity. Okay, and I'm doing it. All right, so I'm recording this podcast Saturday morning, 1:39. What the fuck? This can't be good. This podcast is being recorded at 1:39 in the morning on a Saturday. No way this is going to be good. Yeah, if only all the podcasts you listen to, told you the time that they were recording. You're like, what? This is 2 p.m. on a Tuesday? Come on, what's your life like? No, mine's 1:30 in the morning. I guess this is what we're doing. Sorry. I've been trying to make myself available for stand-up comedy opportunities, trying to be there, and we're balancing. It's a hard balance, okay? You know, I love doing the podcast. You know, I'm here right now. I love doing it, but it's all for the jokes, okay? And anything I do in my life is in service to stand-up comedy. I've been acting like this for more than a decade. I can't change my brain. And I'll admit it. It's hard to spend my time wisely. It is hard to spend my time wisely. I'm planning to go to a show tomorrow, 5 to 7 p.m. What am I doing? Is that productive? Maybe. I just want to hang out with the guys, the boys, the girls. I want to hang out with everybody. Really. And then just, you're trying to get to a place where you don't tip over, right? You spend your little bit of time here, a little bit of time there. You get everything, get all the fucking activities and possibly money producing things pushing all at once. All right. I literally, dude, just 2 weeks ago, I finally got my podcast on Spotify. I have the podcast is on Spotify now. Can you believe that? It took me a year. It took me a year to hit 2 buttons. Yeah, Spotify, my clear medium. The medium that I would obviously succeed in, all right? Look at me. I belong on Spotify. Look at my hair. It's so hot in Los Angeles, and it makes my hair look so bad. I'm an audio man. Yes, Rose-Colored Classist is now on Spotify. You're welcome, blind people. Yeah. Shout out to all the blind viewers. Really happy you're here with me. Emphasis on here. Yes, I'm gonna shout out to the blind people. What am I gonna do? Wave at them? Right. Yes, you can now. I'm letting you guys know this. You can now rate my podcast. You can rate it. It's terrifying. I'm so scared. I would rather you not. I would rather you not rate my podcast at all. Okay, I am not asking for 5 stars. What I'm asking for is nothing. Please don't click it. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine I would benefit from people rating my podcast. No, I don't think you guys are going to give the show a good grade. I really don't believe that. I believe you're going to give it 2.8 stars. That'll be where I'm going to land, and that's not cool. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. I think everyone in society is getting a little too much feedback. All right? We're all getting a little too much feedback. We don't need to be rated like this. I mean, we get the comments, we get the fucking feedback, the likes, the views, the subscriptions, and, it just entrenches people. They become hardened in their moral positions, in their manners. And, if the system truly works how we think it is, that, the same stuff is always rewarded no matter what, then what are you turning people into? What are you turning people into? What do you want this show to be? Tell me what you want it to be. Please. Yeah, I need help. I need help. I need someone to do the graphics. Okay, I need someone to do the lighting, camera work, makeup, and hair. I need so much help. My podcast is really made for the blind at this moment. My podcast is named Rose-Colored Classist, and I guess the rose-color part would probably be a little rude to the blind. Maybe it's not made for the blind. Maybe it's not made for anybody. It's made for me. For me. Yeah, I'll work on the production, okay? I'll work on it, all right? I'm out here trying to prepare all week for the podcast. I'm writing. I'm aggregating. I use my phone, and I screen record. All right, a lot of the content I'm going to be putting out to you guys is vertical. All right, yes, I need to hire someone to do some overlays. Overlays. My career is over. Better lay down. I need an overlay. I need, moving parts. I need swishes. I need motion. Yeah, I just, I want to put it out there again. I'm hiring, all right? Guys, if you want to work on the show, all right? If your dream was to work at the Late Show on CBS, I need you to email at Rose-Colored Classist, because that shit's over. Okay, rosecoloredclasses@gmail.com. Help me edit. Help me get the look right. Help me get the thing. I know how to edit. I can tell you what to do. I'm not going to be a bad boss. I would do it if I had time. All right? I would tell you what to do better than anybody. All right? If you want to work for me, I will give you orders way more efficiently than anybody you could possibly imagine. All right? I got a vision. Look at my glasses. I have a vision. And I need people to do all the work for me. I'm a creator. I'm an inventor. I'm a leader. I'm a little leader. Yeah, I need to do all the work. So please email rosecoloredclassist@gmail.com. I feel I'm adding way too many ats when I say this. The internet has fucked up my brain. And I just need someone to handle all that for me. All right? Can you make some graphical assets? Is that how you say that? I need a Fusion node. I need a DaVinci Resolve Fusion node. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay, I need overlays. I need layers. I need your Premiere Pro. I need your After Effects. I need help. Yeah, I mean, why am I even doing this, guys? The robots. Are the robots going to help me edit this podcast? What's going on? I saw a little article that bothered me. I'm gonna show it. We're gonna talk about it. Usually I've been talking about comedy up top. I play some old bit, play some old clip. Do a little drama in the comedy community. There obviously is a niche for comedy news. I think growing. There's a real niche for it. A conversation does need to be had about how fast comedy is growing and the ways it's growing and where the future is going to lie. Comedy is at the forefront of the technology. And maybe I'm going to shift a little bit, avoid some copyright problems. If I had a producer whose dream was to touch Stephen Colbert's picture on a wall at the Ed Sullivan Theater, I would be a lot better at these things. If I had some New York State University graduate, NYU, if I had one of those guys, maybe I'd know all the rules. But maybe I'm going to start shifting a little bit more to just comedy news, comedy type, fit the niche. Fit the niche, bitch. Get in there. Get in there. Everybody knows what a niche is, right? No one knows what a niche means in like the educational, biological way. But in terms of content, I feel like everyone's on board. You're bored. Have you turned off the show yet? Come on. No, I'm gonna talk about this. It seems that AI are making podcasts. That's a possibility. I'll educate you. I don't know if anyone's talked about this yet. Rose-colored Classist, living up to the name. This is in the past. It's the future. It's the now. I'm so confused. Please let's read the article. I got to get a better handle on this. So Copilot, if anybody knows Copilot, Microsoft's little AI division, all right, this is an article that's saying Copilot can now turn your favorite topics into virtual podcasts that you can partake in. Right. Yes, Microsoft is bringing AI-generated podcasts to Copilot, letting you listen to your favorite topics and even join in on the conversation. Yes, turn hours of scrolling into minutes of listening. Copilot Podcasts will let you listen to your favorite topics. Yes, Microsoft. You know him. You love him. Bill Gates. What's he doing? Is he in any trouble right now? No. Microsoft has announced a new feature coming to Copilot that will allow you to turn any topic into a virtual podcast. Yes, Copilot will generate the podcast and present it to you via audio, and letting you chime in with your own thoughts as if you were also on the podcast. You can be on a podcast of your own with Copilot. And who's your partner? Who's your guest? It's an AI. Yes, they curate and deliver personalized audio content based on your interests. Yes. Podcasts giving you an easy and engaging way and different to consume information with minimal effort. Yes, we want to consume information with minimal effort. Yeah, would that make us retain it? I don't know. It's kind of creepy so far. Yes, this feature can create a personalized podcast to analyze and compare options like a vacation plan or a home purchase. Or you can provide content to Copilot like a study or specific websites, and Copilot will help you generate a podcast that explains the topic. Right on. Yes. Microsoft also says that users will be able to talk with Copilot as the podcast is ongoing, as if you were part of the show. Yeah, only if. Only if you were part of this AI generation. Yep, you can continue to talk and interact with Copilot to learn more and keep the conversations going. Where are we going? Basically the idea is you're somehow gonna, give AI Copilot your fucking Reddit account. It'll give you a podcast of it. Yeah, an AI podcast of your Reddit feed. I'm sure that won't be disturbing. A little R-rated, maybe. Come on, the not safe for work posts on /r anal, /r anime, /r anal. Can you make a podcast of all the whores I follow on Reddit? Is that possible? Yeah. Hey, buddy. Look, I'm gonna give it to you right now. If anybody here or around the world listens to an AI podcast, I'm coming for you. Yeah, I'm coming for you. The podcast mafia will put you down, all right? We'll go to the boss. Joe Rogan, get your ass sanctioned, okay? Look, I mean, it's obviously nonsense to hear something like you're going to get information told to you in podcast form by some chatbot. You know, the fucking podcasting was the only thing the robots weren't going to be able to take. What are you saying? All right, the only way to stop AI is to deliberately ice it out. All right, get an ice pick and take it out. All right, yeah. I mean, what are we talking about? What do we really want? I mean, I was listening to Breaking Points, and they were telling me that like 95% of AI companies have flat revenue, right? Like no profitability. And I hope to God it's because people are actually trying to fight the AIs and they're not participating. Okay, I mean, we're at a point, just starting off. Maybe this is not comedy news. I mean, the AIs, are they going to take over comedy? Is that really the question I'm debating right now? I mean, my point is that we have to decide what jobs AI gets to do. All right, when it comes to work, are we gonna let the AI in? It's like keeping out the blacks in the 50s. All right, it's like keeping out the Asians. It's like maybe we need to be a little AI racist, huh? Come on, you with me? You can't let an AI comic go up, a little robot comic. No way we can book that guy. No way. All right. Yeah, man, it's an interesting thing to say, but when it comes to work in this world, and as it continues to move on, and we have all these worries, I think we gotta get the categories right. We gotta figure out what we're really talking about when it comes to what we should be doing for money. All right, this is the way I would break it down, and I think a lot of comics could listen to this right now and understand what I'm talking about, figuring out where comedy or being a stand-up comic or being a podcaster fits in it. Is, in the economy, you have professions, you have vocations, you have careers, and you have jobs. All right, is that enough? I think that's everything. All right, jobs, those are something anybody can do. Anybody can do a job. Anybody can pick up a mop, flip a burger, code, talk to the client, wake up at 7 a.m. and talk to the international client. Anybody can do that, all right? Now, professions, those are needed services, okay? We can think of, what I do for my day job. Another reason why this podcast is so hard for me to put out. I'm a process server. We have lawyers, cops, accountants, all right? And then there are vocations, talents, skills. We think of plumbers. We think of artists. We think of construction workers. And then when we talk about a career, which is something everybody wants, everyone's always talking about the career. Now, what a career is a body of work that produces. You understand what I'm saying? We talk about doctors. We talk about salesmen. Right? It's, I say doctors because, they obviously fall into the vocation, but also, they write papers, they do science, they figure out methods of treatment, their stuff lives on. They create and produce outside of themselves. If you're a salesman, right, you gather the clients, you sell the product, hopefully it keeps on returning. You heard about life insurance. Have you not heard about life insurance? And then a comedy career, right? You make the specials, you make the podcasts, you make the videos. And, supposedly they got to continue to make and produce and be evergreen, right? Now, when I'm talking about this, I think, when we talk about AI, what are we going to let them do? Okay? I think we should let them do the jobs. I mean, fuck jobs. Everyone says that. Who needs a job? All right? Passionless monstrosities. The stuff for slaves. A job? No jobs. I don't think anybody should have a job. All right? There's a wonderful Chris Rock bit about this. And maybe if I didn't want to get, copy whipped, I'd show it to you. All right. And now when it talks about a profession, yeah, sure. Professions evolve. All right. We need different stuff at different times. Maybe, lawyers are not going to be the most useful profession in the next 10 years. But maybe they'll be super needed in 20. They're needed right now. There's lots of things I can mention like this. And, when the vocation, you always need it. A vocation's always needed. Everyone always needs someone with a skill, okay? And if you can't find work in your specific thing or convince someone else that they need your talent, I'm sure you're the type of person who can figure out to do something that people actually need at the time. And a career, right? This is the dream. The dream, a career. Again, I'm just trying to say you need to, it's something where you need to be able to make and create and produce things that will last, stand the test of time, and continue to have output. And this day and age, you have to be in charge. All right? You have to be the business owner. You have to be the guy. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I mean, as a stand-up comic, we're all out there to try and be these beautiful, wonderful artists. But I don't know if you've been paying attention. It's not good enough. Okay? No, capitalism has fucking won the fuck out of the fucking world. It is completely dominated. All right? Unless you are trying to be the man, you're in a lot of fucking trouble. You are in a lot of fucking trouble. Okay? And if you want to survive in the future economically, understand what I'm talking about here. All right, figure out if you want to be a professional, you want to have a beautiful, wonderful talent and vocation. If you actually want to go out there and create things. Jobs are going away. You're not going to learn a job or to bet the whole thing on a job you're going to get. I mean, how many stories do you have to hear about people getting fucked? How many stories you got to hear about people getting fucked? Okay. No, you got to have a career. All right, in a career you can have a job in the career. But understand that that's just going to get you to the next one or the other one. All right. I have made tons of stuff that never made any money. All right. Hoping to have some kind of career. So as long as you know the difference between everything, what you're doing, as a comic, a comic is a career. It's a vocation and there are jobs in it. Some might even call it a profession. I don't know who does that. Professional comic. What's that? I don't know. But and if people are going to continue, given what I've covered in the past few episodes with these Macaroon and fucking all these comics with the attitude and the petty, petulant thoughts about our roles, if you understand it like that, how I'm saying, maybe we all don't have to get so pissed off. Right on. Okay. Now the show. The show. You know about the show? I'm doing a show here. Rose-colored classes. What do we talk about? Yep, the show, I'm going to talk about Alaska. Yeah, we're doing the news. Yeah, bitch, doing the news. Yeah, man, I got a lot of personal stuff going on. But I have to focus on world affairs before I get a hold of my own life. Anybody else? Yep, I have to focus on the world before I look inwardly. Anyone else? No, I have to think past my own aggrandizement. All right? I have to think past that and look at society as a whole. Who am I doing it for? What am I living life for? No, I do believe I have a personal responsibility to share, what I think about these big issues. Because is it not the most important time in human history? Is it not? Yeah, man, when the historians go through this, when the AI is scraping the data, creating the gigantic cerebral consciousness of the world neural network, I do want my opinion on Putin and Donald Trump and their meeting in Alaska to be in there. Okay, I want to be the victim of a news aggregation. I want my word to show up in a quote for a textbook written by AI robots. That's what I want. And, maybe I can talk about myself all day. Maybe I could do that. But if I'm not sharing what I think about world affairs, I think I'm really missing the point about what it means to live in a society. Right? So let's play a clip. Again, I love me some breaking points. I love them. And I think it gets to maybe what is really going on. I'm not the specifics, but the general point. What's the war? The wars? Is there a war happening? They were meeting about a war? Why? Why even have those? Let's find out.
In this moment, I'm just shocked at, especially with a lot of the people in the Trump administration. I know them personally. I know you do as well. And we heard for years about the folly of being obsessed with the Middle East, of American security doctrine, just having this religious devotion, to NATO, to Europe, to the Middle East. And as I watch, the consumption of U.S. weaponry, of U.S. attention and diplomacy on Israel, an obsession really with Israel, and then also similar obsession here with Ukraine, and then even determining our relationship with India and with China on the basis of Ukraine, it just seems so counter to any grand strategic interests of the United States and of Asia, which will compromise some 50% GDP.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate description of what's happened here. The Trump administration and the Biden administration both argued that the principal contingency the United States should concern itself with is a war against China in East Asia. But what's happened is that we can't get out of Ukraine. We're pinned down in Ukraine. And the situation in the Middle East is even worse. If you look at what happened in the war that we picked with the Houthis, remember Trump said we're going to go out and beat the Houthis. And then we get involved in the wars that Israel's fighting, especially their war with Iran. And there, again, we're using up all sorts of American weaponry, and we're pinned down in the Middle East, right? So I think from a strategic point of view, what's going on with regard to Ukraine and what is going on with regard to the Middle East is disastrous. And then there's the moral dimension. We don't want to lose sight of the fact that the United States is complicit in a genocide in the Middle East. That what is happening in Gaza is a genocide. And for those people who don't want to call it a genocide, I would think you at least have to acknowledge that this is mass murder on a scale that we haven't seen in a long time. And certainly it's mass murder on a scale we would never accept or should never accept from a close ally. But nevertheless, here we are supporting Israel, hook, line, and sinker as it executes a genocide. So from both a strategic point of view and a moral point of view, when you look at the behavior of the Biden administration and now the Trump administration, it leaves me at least with a sick feeling in my stomach.
Right on. So, those are the issues laid out by, the bald fuck with the glasses. It's an analysis. It is an analysis. All right. And yes, there are lots of people to listen to when it comes to this event that happened. Yeah. Donnie T going to Putin, just asking him to stop, going to Alaska to ask him. I'll ask you in Alaska. Write that one down. There's lots of people to listen to when it comes to what you want to think or what came out of the event, all right? You can listen to the man himself, the Don himself. You can listen to Donnie T yip and yell, holler. He'll tell you what happened for sure. You can listen to Putin. He talks a lot, actually, more than you think. And you can he has all the representatives talking too. You got all those guys. Yes, all those guys, the good men, all the president's men. You can listen to all of them. There's the corporate media. You can listen to them about it. You got MSNBC, the insurgent corporate media. Shout out to Breaking Points for putting up that clip. You should just be a huge fan of them. Listen to everything they do. Then watch this show, right? Yeah, man, there's so many people to listen to when it comes to events like this, right? You got the fucking fuckhead motherfucking daily choir, right? All those boys saying the same shit. Yes, the far right podcast community, my friends, lovers, my family. You know, and then there's even the comics, right? The comics are always chiming in too. This is what we've been talking about. Yeah, the funny boys. I'm sure Rogan will shine on in soon if he hasn't already. Okay, he's talked so much, to be honest. Who knows what that guy is saying at any given moment? But I'm sure some news aggregator will find it and make it into a short for you. He'll comb through 12 hours and you'll see a YouTube short all about his opinion on Donnie T and poutine in Alaska. Right? And there's guys like me. Well, I only have an hour to share with you a week, but are you going to get my opinion? Yeah, man. No, personally, whatever I think, there's so many people talking that I might not just say a specific thing. Okay, who's going to win? Who's going to lose? The lines. The front lines. Who gets what? Not me. I'm not. All right, I'm not doing that. You guys can figure it out. But what I do want to talk about is like the perspective, and that's important because that's what I think it is, right? In any kind of serious, monumental political fucking event, all right, especially when it involves the lives of human beings, literally, these events that take place in human history and they decide who lives and who dies and how bad it's going to be, how bad and how many. I do think that there's two ways to look at these type of events, right? There's the clear geopolitical, Machiavellian, fucked up political way. But there's also the spiritual and moral, right? I think that is an interesting thing to bring up, right? And I think, when a lot of people are talking about, these big important issues, all right, they often are conflating these two angles, these two perspectives, right? I mean, fucking, who watched that Tucker Carlson interview with Ted Cruz? Ted Cruz, literally Tom Cruise's fat younger brother. And he was talking out both sides of his mouth on the issue, right? There's fucking Ben Shapiro. There's all the, Israeli crowd. And everyone, they always talk about the God-given rights and the destiny and the moral choices. And then they lean back and they go to security and the logistics and what's actually going on. Russia does this too, right? They say they started the war because of the fucking Nazis, and that's why they had to invade Ukraine. All right, China, they'll fucking yap all along about how, Taiwan was really theirs, and it's destiny. But then they'll, take a serious moment for a second, and they go, yeah, resources, economic development, security. And I really think the main issue here is that no one is deciding the perspective to take, all right? Because, when we talk about the geopolitical, we talk about the moral, right? Those are two different things. And you got to decide which one you're actually going to be doing, all right? Because I don't know if you can tell, but more often than not, the hardcore, realistic geopolitical is morally abhorrent. And, if you try and square the circle with this one, we're just going to keep spinning. And sometimes I think it's, people do it intentionally, right? Like, what is Donnie T doing? You heard him, I hear him the other day. He's like, I'm trying to get into heaven. That's why he's trying to solve the wars, so he can get into heaven. Yeah, amazing Donnie T quote. That's beautiful. You can really see his charm, right? The real charm of the guy is that despite even being like a, huge fucking scumbag, all of us believe he's serious when he tells us he wants to get into heaven. Right? And, maybe he's a liar and a fucking phony big actor. At least we know that. It's nice to know he still hasn't given up on himself. and he still believes he can get there. But then you ask yourself the question, it's like, well, are you doing this for real reasons or just so you can see God? And it's sort of like you're just, we ping pong back and forth, never making a decision because, again, right, the spiritual and the naturalistic, for some reason, they often seem in conflict, to contradict. And, it's just hard to decide, what's really, what these politicians and these people are really saying, right? I mean, it's often like they're running cover for each other at the same time, right? What was morally right and is somehow not policy, and they're excusing each other all the time, and somehow it just extends the conversation, right? It just keeps going and going and going, preventing people from actually getting something they actually want, right? I mean, we want these moral, beautiful things to happen. We also want the serious economical ones to happen. And I'm not saying it's one or the other, but can we at least do one at a time? Yeah, man. I mean, just talking one way or the other. We can't be doing both. All right. We're either in a fucking, world run by violence, okay, where the, strongest must survive. Or there is a difference between right and wrong. We have traditions, and we have to actually respect them. And if we don't, we'll be punished in a cosmic sense. Yeah, that's basically my point when it comes to these big events. I will say, if you find my analysis, not encompassing, I will say that both of these things I'm talking about are selfish. Okay, and that's really the main thing when it comes to human motivations. Right? If you're on a mission from God and nothing can stop you, you're the most important person. All right, you figure out how that's a nice little feeling in your heart. All right, yes, I'm fucking on planet Earth and I'm standing alone. I'm a hero. Or the classic prince, classic psychopath, just doing what's best for him in the moment, the realpolitik. You know it. And, you just try to get as much done as you can with as little sacrifice as possible. You know what I mean? We're not going against human nature by creating these two dichotomies. Did I use that word right for the first time ever? Maybe. I'm just trying to say that, these are both valid worldviews. Okay, you can either be a money-making monster, or you can be a good guy. But let's pick up. Let's pick up one or the other. All right. Yes. Let's meet up in Alaska and just decide what kind of person we want to be. Yes. Meet me in Alaska, baby. Is that a song? Someone make that a song. AI. Make that a song. AI music's pretty good. I don't know about the podcast, but the music's solid. Yep. Let's all just meet in Alaska. Decide the world. Right on. I do have more to say about Alaska, but let's take a break. All right, thank you. Yes, we're on break. This podcast is sponsored by Nominal Drugs. We don't need them. They don't make us better, but it gives us something to do while we fail. Am I failing because of the pot, the booze, the weed? The lack of time? It's 2 a.m. No, who cares? All right, end of the break. There you go. That was the sponsored ad. I don't have anywhere. There's nothing for you to do for me. All right, yeah. So I'm actually going to say my opinion about the geopolitics. I'm actually going to do it. I don't believe I should do it, but I will. And I will say that I'm not going to go on. Okay, I'm not going to go on and opine about what we shoulda and coulda and woulda done. But in the whole situation, I will point to that interview that Jon Stewart did with that official, everyone talks about it on the, if I think Dave Smith, famous Dave, he just brought it up on his pod. It's that classic fucking interview about, U.S. and Russia's relationship when it comes to Ukraine. Super viral on the internet. It's super popular in the far right podcasting community. It's a clip, and the U.S. official, basically, his thing is, he says, he makes an analogy, a beautiful metaphor. He says that Russia is Batman and Ukraine is Robin. And if the United States takes away Robin from Batman, that'll be good. That'll help us beat Russia. Batman will be less powerful. And I've heard this clip. All right, I heard this Batman and Robin premise. And let me just say, if the United States steals Robin, that makes us the Joker. Anybody realize that? I haven't heard that take. If we steal Robin, there's actually a huge arc in the comics where Joker did that. Okay, yes, we kidnapped Jason Todd, and now what are we doing? We're debating whether we throw him in the Lazarus pit. Okay, we are in motherfucking Gotham, and Ukraine is wearing a red hood. Yes, I have played the Arkham Asylum Batman games. Okay, I'm just... Yes, this analogy that this guy makes, it's super problematic, okay? All right? I'm not one of those people who enjoys being the Joker. Okay? Oh, yes, a lot of wonderful, famous comics. People in the fucking scene, they all talk about Joker like he's a cool guy. Good and cool guy. They think it's a character worth admiring. And I don't think so. I don't think that. All right? I don't think Batman is really worth admiring either. They are characters. It's a comic book. They have weird outfits. I don't know why this fucking U.S. official decided to talk about it this way. Maybe he's being childish. Right on. That's what I think about it geopolitically. Okay, you want to be the Joker? Okay, you're a psycho. Fine. The Joker seems to have a lot of success. I'm not going to say he's not a successful person. Maybe it could work out. Okay, I'm sure there's an alternate comic fucking world universe where he's the winner, and it's a funny world. But whatever, man. Now I do want to talk about the other part, right? Spiritual and moral perspective on this war, on this conflict, and this is where I kind of get off on one. Okay, this is where I separate myself from the average opinion. Yeah, okay, here it is. I have I've expressed this on previous podcasts, and the listeners would know because they listen. And it doesn't get easier talking about this. I mean, I have trouble with it every time I bring it up. It's just so fucked up. And basically, my spiritual and moral center, where I'm, looking at the world in this way, I have a belief that, aliens are real, and they're most likely are God. All right, they've been here for thousands of years, and they are interdimensional alien gods. Okay. I mean, I never thought about this before. Okay, I do have a religious upbringing. Okay, I went to a Christian high school. I was thinking about God. I never thought about aliens. I never thought about aliens in any kind of serious capacity. Okay, I didn't even watch the X-Files. Wasn't even into it. All right, but last couple years with the revelations, with the congressional hearings, I weaponized. I listened to Weaponized, the podcast Weaponized. And I just, I've come to the conclusion that the world is run by interdimensional space alien gods. Okay, they're practically God in comparison to us. I'm not trying to say anything particularly about their divinity. But, they're gods and powerful, and we cannot fight them. We are bugs. We are cattle. We're being farmed. Okay, we are, in a way, somehow our consciousness or spirit, the thing that gives our body's life, Okay, it's somehow a resource. They are mining us as a resource. We're being used by the interdimensional ancient alien space gods. And what's happening is that when we die, that's how they extract our value. And that's what I really think about most war. No, I mean, come on. What do people say about death? All throughout fucking, every, religion. All right, we can even talk about like Aztec human sacrifice. All right, the pagan gods, Babylon. All right, we even talk about Jesus motherfucking Christ. Okay, Allah, Yahweh, Hinduism. Hinduism has a fun time. And basically, in a way, right, they're saying that our essence goes to a different place upon death, right? I mean, this is what they all say. Deaths are necessary, inevitable, really. And, when you look at all these, wars and massacres and the needless, nonsensical death and destruction that, human beings bring on each other, I think the only way to justify it is to say that the alien gods need more people to die at certain points and intervals. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, what's going on with Israel? What's going on with Ukraine? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. It seems like it propagates itself. It seems like it's a fucking swirly dirl. All right, and whatever whatever economic development, whatever like money grab happens, it doesn't seem like sufficient. It doesn't seem sufficient as a reason to do this. It cannot be. All right, I don't know, man. The protection of your own life even doesn't seem sufficient, for the kind of barbarity we're seeing. I mean, when I look at what happens in Israel, I feel like I would rather die than do that. Even if I'm correct in it, it's just, it's just so fucked up. And I'm convinced that there is some like force, unknown or known, conscious or unconscious, that it just, it desires human death. And it forces that upon us. That's what the morality is. And whether it's your responsibility to stop it or encourage it, I guess that would depend on whatever interdimensional space god you serve. Right? Whether killing masses of people for any particular reason is right or wrong, I mean, who are you talking to? What interdimensional god are you talking to? I don't know. I mean, I grew up Christian, and I'm sure, all of my little Christian thoughts and feelings tells me that, whatever's going on is wrong. But there's other religions that, might excuse this type of behavior. Okay. And I just, for me, man, I cannot tell you whether it is right or wrong for all these people to die. Okay. I cannot tell you whether it's right or wrong. What I can tell you is aliens are real, and they most likely need us to die to power their spacecraft and weapons. All right. Maybe God needs these people dead. Maybe God needs these people dead. All right. Maybe that's what needs to happen. All right. And that's terrifying for me to say, and I'm not comfortable with it. But hey, man, might be the truth. Okay. And again, I'm on it. I'm really whipping around it. I mean, I'm gonna play this clip from Weaponized just to seal this idea I'm talking about. I mean, yeah, man, it's troubling. I don't want to think this. But it seems to be right. Again, I just, whatever they say about the military-industrial complex, I mean, whatever they say about, the necessary ethno-state to ensure the safety and security, I don't know, man. It just never seems like enough. It just never seems like enough to excuse what's going on. Because, sometimes it just feels like these leaders and these soldiers, sometimes they enjoy it. All right, and maybe they have regrets later, but in the moment, it does seem like they're serving some sort of power, right? Anyway, let's see. I'm going to play this clip from Weaponized, get into a little more about the source of my beliefs. and maybe there's a little more to talk about after that. Okay, here it is.
I think the truth of it is much, and I think, and again, I don't want to speak for you guys, but I think that the truth of this has sort of crept up on you folks as well, which is that we're not just talking about little guys that are coming here from a planet orbiting Zeta Reticuli, or with necessarily just with people coming here from another planet. What we're talking about here is if these non-human intelligences have been here for a really long time and perhaps even predate our presence on the planet, are they really aliens, or are they a higher form of intelligence that we simply have not been able to interact with, and that we are starting to, sort of wake up to as we evolve? And so this intelligence, this non-human intelligence, or these non-human intelligences that we're dealing with, may have all kinds of things to do with, the manipulation of our genes, with our evolution, with where we may go in the future. I always wonder what happens when, let's say if we're a genetic experiment, or if there is something about us that is a product, what happens when the subject of the experiment becomes aware of the experimenters? Is it time to start over and wipe the slate clean? So, when we talk about disclosure and we talk about aliens, it's one thing to tell people that there are aliens, that we're being visited by some higher intelligence or some different intelligence from another part of the universe. That's one thing. But it's a completely different thing to tell them that they're the product of an experiment. And just and one more thing about as far as disclosure. What exactly how is that going to take place? Because think about this for a second. What is disclosure going to do to culture and to society? Because it presents something that has never happened before, and that is that we all as human beings have an ego, and that ego places us in a specific place on our planet, in the universe, and in our culture and in society, and in our local culture, and that is where we are. And then you wake up one day, and this is true for every human being on the planet, and then say every human being as they wake up one day is told that everything that you were told that places you on this planet and structured your ego is not true. And the restructuring of the ego of every human being on the planet simultaneously taking place, relatively all at the same time, you can't predict the outcome of that.
Yep, it's all a test, guys. It's all a big experiment. Yep. Where have we heard that before, though? It's all a test. You've heard that before, right? Anyone grow up religious? Now, it is troubling as, the alien disclosure, becomes closer and closer. It feels like religion is coming back in this big way, right? For some reason, when it comes to aliens, it seems like the topic is, reiterating like ancient fucking religious ideas that we've heard 1,000 times. Now, I am super empathetic to this big worry, right? When it comes to alien disclosure, I am super empathetic to the idea that, human beings aren't going to be able to stand up to the question. Yes, the perspective breaking fucking facts, I am empathetic to that, but I do want to say that, I think all of us on planet Earth, we experience the unexplainable quite often, all right? Most of us out here are super confused. Most of us out here look at what's going on in the world and nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense, all right? Every one of us just has coincidence after coincidence, just odd connection after odd connection. And, maybe, this stuff doesn't all amount to much. But, between you and me, okay, I know the difference between happenstance and suspicious circumstance, okay? I am very keen to hear that, these aliens are perhaps, just testing us like God, like the devil, like fucking goddamn Athena and, just, putting the rocks in front of us and giving us the weapons, Odysseus with the fucking experience. It's like, I'm aware of this coincidence, and it bugs the fuck out of me. It feels too true, right? And is it troubling? I mean, come on. Is it troubling to find out that we are a lesser species? Hasn't this been going on the whole time? I mean, we've always been lesser beings. The whole, vast story of human history is about how we keep fucking it up and how these, outside forces are always really making the decisions at the end of the day. I mean, is it really that troubling to accept that we're not that fucking consequential? I mean, I'm sorry. It just seems like, best case scenario, we're like oil in the grand scheme of things, right? I mean, oil's not bad. Oil's cool. Oil is super useful. And, we like oil. We like oil. We run everything. We run the machines. Maybe it's a good thing. And is it that different from what we've been saying? I mean, yes, the true knowledge is perhaps we are a lesser life form evolved intentionally to be used as power cells or fucking batteries. And I don't think that's outside of our traditional thoughts about what it meant to be human. All right. Yes. I mean, sure. As we move forward, we've evolved, our understanding has grown, but I think when you talk about aliens, which is like, sort of we're peaking with the human understanding. I don't think, fundamentally it's that different from old religion, right? I really don't. I mean, I'm not talking about the fucking Enlightenment or Renaissance or whatever, no religion from the 1300s. Okay, I might not even be talking about 33 AD, baby. All right, I'm talking more like the Aztecs, more like the Babylonians, and, we've had more history of those kinds of religions and thoughts than we've had all this new shit. And yeah, I don't really believe it's that troubling. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. But what is the point about all this, religion and aliens? At the end of the day, I mean, when it comes to disclosure, I think that I don't think it's really mind breaking. Okay, because when we talk about religion, I think the concept of faith gets brought up, right? I mean, real religion, it's what makes it run. The belief in the infinite things we all have to believe in that are outside of ourselves, right? There's a great phrase. I'm kind of forgetting it, but it's sort of like, it's like the sort of consciousness that we have inside of our bodies, and then we experience it, right? It's like we live in a glass house or something in our heads. You know what I'm talking about. It's anything we see or experience. I mean, there has to be some kind of, inherent belief that it's happening, right? I mean, I swear to God, even if like the aliens, they came down in their fucking spaceship or whatever, walked right up to me and, looked at me and spoke interdimensionally, right? All those stories where the aliens come down and they look at the person and the person just knows everything that they want to express. I do even think in that case, it's like I have to have a belief and faith that actually happened or actually did happen. I'm always having faith that I'm alive and I'm actually experiencing, right? I mean, I don't think that's a fundamental change. No matter what fact or reality actually is presented to us, I do believe that you're always going to have faith it happens. Do you know what I'm talking about? Right? No, I mean, even if like the aliens, they came down and they told me my ultimate purpose, God spoke to me or whatever, and it told me what happens after I die, and they told me what actually is going to happen to me specifically. And, even if, the aliens representing Christianity told me, the aliens representing the Jews told me, and, all the ones that I forget to mention, I still feel like it would be in like a object of faith to, decide, which one is right or which one is true. Or, abandon it all anyway. I mean, we're a lesser life form. We're limited in our abilities. It's the inherent condition. All right. Yes. Okay. Yes. Disclosure. It'll be mind bending or whatever, but I think fundamentally it's not going to change the human perspective, right? I mean, it's all about belief, and we're still going to be resources, right? Right? I mean, yeah, we're super sophisticated at this point. Okay. Even the dumbest of us are not dumb enough. Okay, every person on Earth can work a phone, communicate fucking infinite distances. You know, the differences between people nowadays, you know, so much as intelligence is paltry. Okay, if anyone has a work ethic, they can do something. All right, we all know the dumb guy in charge. We all, every guy can figure out his problems at the end of the day. Okay, and I feel like we can handle this information. I feel like we can handle it. I feel like we now, figured out the difference. Okay, we've realized that we are limited creatures. We've attained so much, yes, but even with all our wonderful technology and abilities, somehow there's still this, barrier in between us and what we believe to be true. And I think we could do it. I think we could actually, tell people aliens are real. Okay, yes, the 1950s, maybe not. Yes, I'm sure everything would have gone wrong in the 70s. Okay, I'm sure it all would have gone wrong in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and 2010s. But hey, in the 2020s, maybe I think it's all moved forward so much that we can really deal with it. I mean, yes, it's a test. Okay, yes, it's an experiment. I accept that. Okay, yeah, we're little pawns in a big game, and, I've heard that before. If it's the aliens and not Jesus Christ and Satan, whatever. If Jesus Christ and Satan are aliens, I think I could deal with that. All right, I mean, at disclosure, at this point, I mean, I feel like all they're protecting are the atheists, okay? They're all trying to protect the atheists and, the people who think that, truth is there in front of them to grasp. Think truth is something that is true. Yeah, the atheists would love this. Okay, the atheists would love for aliens to be real. Okay, let's just be serious. The religious people, they'll handle it fine. We know they'll handle it fine. They'll just say their God is an alien and they'll all figure it out. Okay, and if we just have a more realistic point of view, if the aliens told us everything to be true, we'd stop trying to figure out all our problems in Alaska. Stay in your house. Don't have to take a flight. Right on. Okay, what else is happening in the world that I need to chat about? Yeah, man, the news. Gotta get into the news. This is it, man. My moment. These thoughts and opinions are gonna last through time. I'm gonna be called out on everything I say real quick. I know it. Man, so we're gonna talk Candace Owens and her little spat, her little deal with the French president. It is it's big. It's pretty big. Talking about a lot of big topics and concepts. Miss Candace girl, if you heard of her. Yep, with old President Macaroon, and his wife, right? Yeah, let's see what she has to say. I maybe have picked the latest little hot barb she made. And if you don't know about it, if you don't know what I'm gonna be talking about, please just go educate yourself. I'm gonna talk about the French president and his wife. You're gonna have to learn about it to understand. You're gonna really have to get into the topic. It's a fun 9 hours that you're gonna spend. I'll tell you. Okay, here it is. Candace, please, sweetheart, lovely girl.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know anything right now. That's the point. That's why we go to you guys, because we get to just activate a bunch of investigators. Poor Elise Palace staying up late right now watching this. I think they really did believe that I was working with far right politicians in various countries, and truly when we go through this court process, they're going to realize it's just moms and dads that are concerned about what's happening in the world right now, all over the world, that are sending information, that are doing due diligence, that know something because they were sailors or they were captains or they have access because they know how to research an archive center faster than I do. They don't know how to respond to truth. They don't recognize it. They don't recognize genuine interest because they've been so ingenuine their entire lives, right? When your entire life becomes a carefully woven lie, you do feel attacked when you see something that is truth, that is rising organically. You don't even understand something that can be grown organically because your entire life is inorganic. That's exactly what is happening right now at the Élysée Palace. And so everybody, tons of themes that we've covered today, but it's going to take all of us. So please, please, please email tips@CandaceOwens.com with whatever you can find.
Yep, you heard it here. Candace needs your tips about how the French president's wife has a tip of her own. Yep. It's President Macaroon and his wife ain't got no cookie. Yeah, man, you've heard of cabal. Now it's just cock and balls. Okay. Right. Now, if you don't know what's going on, yes, Candace is accusing, along with some other people, that the French president's wife is a man. And am I going to join in on that? Am I also going to accuse the French president's wife of being a man? I don't have to. Tim Dillon already did that for me. Yep. Thank you, Tim. Take the heat. Take the heat, Tim. But right on. This is right. They have these ongoing sagas. People are, Candace's show is obsessed about it. Just episode after episode. Keep running on it. Yeah, man. Chase it down. The court case. Get to discovery. What are you gonna try? What are you gonna try and discover? Right on. But big picture, I feel like again, if you try and tap in now, it's hard to catch up. I feel like they're almost kind of refusing to nail down what they're really trying to say. The big picture. They keep saying stuff, alluding to it. Creating the story and they're getting into the specific history of specific people. But big picture, here's the idea. Here's the deal, is that the elites have a system of controlling the world. And what they do is they take their family members, they separate them, they isolate them, they connect them with other members of the family that they are unaware of, who then abuse them physically, psychologically, sexually, and they do it to a point where they do, whatever the family says. All right, and then they layer in another point of contact, with another family member who has secretly transitioned. And in exchange for money and power, that's already technically theirs, the family member will be manipulated to fall in love with the other family member, where they then keep an open poly relationship, technically, making them gay. And they use the coercive nature of sex and responsibility and familial indebtedness, and manipulate them to do what the family says. And depending on their actual aptitude, they're given more power. That's basically the idea. The swirling elites have figured out a specific formula to corral and control their offspring, finding ways to place them in positions of public power. Yep. The real bosses, who are actually in charge, smart and capable, are abusing people, thinking of them as resources, and perhaps setting them up to set other people up. Yeah, that's the whole thing. And doesn't it have a lot of evidence? Doesn't it have a ton of evidence? When you look at these awful situations of, Candace is basically, minimum accusing them of pedophilia, right? Minimum, the French president's wife is a fucking 40-year-old and woman, and he's a 13-year-old boy. At minimum, they're doing that. And again, I'm gonna say this. Is that when it comes to pedophilia, it feels like the only possible reason someone would do that is because the interdimensional alien gods beg for it. And there's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of evidence. I mean, come on, we've all heard the story of the pedophile that fled to Israel, right? You heard this story, the cybersecurity expert getting caught trying to bang a 15-year-old girl in Vegas. How? Through an online chat room? Now, okay, again, I'm focusing on the morality on this episode. I'm focusing on the interdimensional space god morality, but, going back to the geopolitics for a second, let's just first ask, how good at cybersecurity was this guy? Okay, if you're a pedophile whose literal job is cybersecurity, you can't get caught like this. I mean, what are we doing? Are you bad at your job? Are you incompetent? I mean, look, you can't get stung by the FBI. They're not sophisticated people. The FBI's not doing a sophisticated operation. They didn't even know you. They didn't even know this guy, and he is a digital security expert trying to bang a kid, and he didn't figure out what was going on. This is sad. This is bad. This is not efficient work here. Okay, it's like, what is this? It's like when you see an MMA fighter get beat up by a really fat bouncer. It's like, come on, guy, how can you not handle that? The evidence, you're gonna just give us this clear evidence? What are you doing? Everyone is like on edge with this shit, fucking freaking the fuck out, accusing every leader on planet Earth of being the worst type of person. And look at you. And look at you just falling into our trap. Just falling right into it. This is pathetic. This is sad. This is not good. I mean, at least I can say the French president's wife is making it hard enough to figure it out. From how I see it, I mean, it feels like pedophiles should be smart, right? If you're going to do it, right? I mean, I think we can all agree at a level, pedophilia, it's dumb. It's a dumb thing to do. I wouldn't do it. Look, if you are going to be a pedophile, you got to be really smart. You got to be really smart and never let anyone find out, okay? And this guy, cybersecurity expert, had every tool in the kit, every available resource not to get caught. And this is, just a poor showing all around. Really, talk about the rot among the elites, right? I mean, come on. This is supposed to be their thing. Pedophilia is supposed to be their thing. And you get caught by a bunch of mobbed up cops. You get caught by an FBI agent who, for some reason, can pass as a child. This is fucked up. This is not good. Morality. I mean, come on. It's so insane that this guy, right? I mean, so he's an Israeli official. In the cabinet of the Israeli government that's enacting a genocide. And then he's also going to be a pedophile? I mean, come on. This is a little too extreme, don't you think? I mean, I can only believe that the interdimensional alien gods are really putting this guy up to something, right? I mean, look, if we're going to debate which one is worse, between genocide and pedophilia, this is not the dynamic we need to create around the elites. This is not it. Yes, what's worse, killing the kids or fucking them? Is this a debate? Yeah, no, I think I found the new Zero Hedge debate. I think I found the topic that's going to really excite the algorithm. Which is worse, killing them or banging them? How are you going to bang them? Bombs or dicks? Yeah, what's everyone's opinion on that? What's Zorhan Mamdani's opinion on that? Really? Come on, put it to the primary. Put it to the primaries. Hey, yes, Zoran, where are you on condoning child sacrifice to the god Moloch? Where are you on that? No, this is not the policies that need to be. You guys got to be way better. You guys would be way better than this. I mean, look, super fucked up issue. I mean, yes, this is. when I'm going crazy about the spiritual alien interdimensional gods, and then, this obvious evidence is popping up, this is not helpful to what we're doing here on planet Earth. Yeah. I mean, the girl, she was allegedly 15, and we don't need to go into that. All right. Yes, the age of consent is 16 in Canada. And I don't need to know why. I don't need to know why other states have it as that. I mean, how could it possibly be my job to talk about it right now? I'm at the end of my podcast. What could I possibly accomplish by talking about that? Yeah, cheap, inappropriate laughter, maybe. No, we cannot have this obvious evidence be run around like this. It's pathetic. We cannot have the public attention and public buzz be about, what the alien gods are making people do. This is not it. No. What should we talk about? The voting zones? Whether Donnie T's going to come at mail ballots again? Yes, the zones and mail ballots. Can we talk about that? Can that be my next pod, please? Okay. Yeah, man, that was it. Holy shit. Whole podcast. Get it on Spotify. Yeah, thank you for listening. Follow, like, subscribe. Do all the things that the interdimensional alien gods need to create a human AI intelligence so the experiment can end and they can move on with their lives. Right? Okay. Yeah, I couldn't go on more than this. It's 3:07 in the morning. Did I do a good podcast? Did I? I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. Thank God. Thank God? God. Oh, God.